The snow is falling and snow plowers are working round the clock to keep the roads safe. But what can you do to help? We went to talk to some of the drivers and found out how just a few little changes can make their job a whole lot easier. Snow, ice, sleet, it all affects driving conditions, and where there's snow plows. But how deep does the snow have to get before roads begin to be cleared? How long does it take? When is salt used? These answers all depend on one thing: temperature.
If temperatures are going to drop and we got an inch out there and we know it's going to freeze fast, we'll plow with an inch of snow.
Temperature also affects how much salt is laid down. A denser snowfall won't melt as quickly, so roads may need more than one round of salt application. Salt is used to keep snow from bonding to the road surface, making it easier to plow.
Salt works best in higher temperatures, so that area of 28 degrees to 32 degrees, salt's going to work real well.
And if temperatures get below 21 degrees, that's when they use a calcium chloride salt mixture. But laying down salt isn't always the go-to solution.
We adopted a policy here a couple years ago where we plow more and salt less.
But that doesn't mean they aren't prepared. They are, with 600 tons of salt ready and on hand at all times. A normal winter, they can use as much as 1,000 tons with an average use of 50 to 100 tons per snowfall. But trying to plow and salt the roads while keeping up with snowfall isn't their only challenge, especially here in State College.
The home of Penn State campus, there's 42,000 students on campus, so not only do we have vehicular traffic to deal with, the crews have pedestrians that they have to deal with on a daily basis. So when you're sitting in the seat of one of those trucks, it's very demanding and can be stressful, particularly in the downtown grid areas.
Stressful with long hours. The days are split into two 12-hour shifts. There's the salt crew and plow crew, each with about 10 to 12 guys.
It can be a hectic, long, busy day.
But what can you do to help make plowing and salting easier? Well, they had a few tips.
Keeping their vehicles off the streets helps snow removal process, speeds that along and we don't have to backtrack. Residents themselves, if they're standing on the street looking at their house when they shovel their driveway, plow the snow to the left side of the driveway. So when the snow plow comes down the street, it plows the snow away and it doesn't push it back in their driveway. They can help themselves that way. People, they just want to clear their sidewalks and their driveways and get on with their life, and they don't realize, they'll blow the snow back out in the streets. And oftentimes, if temperatures drop after the sun goes down, then that refreezes and can create unsafe conditions for the traveling public.
Safety is their #1 priority. They want to get roads clear and salted as quickly and effectively as possible. If they had a say, they know exactly when they'd like the snow to fall.
Snowfall, if we had to choose when the snow came, it would be from 9 o'clock at night till 1 in the morning, and then typically our crews can have most of the streets plowed one time in 6 hours.
But since Mother Nature has a mind all her own, they must keep an eye on the weather so that they can let the community know when a storm may be approaching.
In State College, we have designated snow removal zones, and once the snowfall reaches 3 inches and we declare a snow emergency, then residents have to remove their vehicles from the streets until the snow's plowed back to the curbs. If it's something that we know is coming and it's going to be a big storm, then we'll put the notice out ahead of time so people can get their vehicles off the street.
They usually start plowing the main streets first, then the residential areas, and finally the alleys, parking lots, and bike lanes.